It's almost 2026, so can a gaming monitor from 2019 still be a good option for your PC gaming setup? In this video, we'll take a look at the monitor I've had since my first setup, LG's UltraGear 27GL83A. Since this monitor launched toward the end of 2019, there have been so many technological advances like OLED display, bendable screens, sub 1 millisecond response time, and ultra high frame rates. But many of these monitors sell for upwards of $1,000 or more. Granted, if you're looking to get the most out of a high-end PC build, a high-end monitor is the place to do it. But what if you don't need that level of hyper-performance? There's a plethora of affordable or budget monitors out there, but I think this 5-year-old 27GL83A offers the best of both worlds. The 27GL83A uses an IPS LCD panel offering 1 millisecond response time, 144Hz refresh rate when connected via DisplayPort, as well as FreeSync and NVIDIA G-Sync compatibility to cut down on screen tearing and ghosting. Colors also look great thanks to HDR10 and 99% sRGB accuracy. I've actually never calibrated this monitor, so what you see is the monitor's factory color presets. But more on all that later. Right now, let's talk about the price. This monitor retails for $299.99 on Amazon, but I frequently find it on sale for under $200. At the time of this recording, it was 37% off, so only $189.99. I think that's an amazing deal for such a monitor, especially since when I bought it, it cost $349.99 for my first one and then $279.99 a year later when I bought my second for a dual monitor setup. Yeah, I loved it so much, I bought two. In fact, even my wife bought one when we built her gaming PC a few years back, and they're all still going strong, no issues at all. As for the design, the 27GL83A features LG's old design language for the UltraGear lineup with this red ring circular portion that houses all the internal components and ports. At its thinnest point, it's only 3/4 of an inch thick, and at its widest, about 2 inches thick. Ports on the 27GL83A only include 2 HDMI 2.0 ports and 1 DisplayPort 1.4 socket. You won't find any USB ports either, so if you're looking for USB support for power in a simple RGB strip or a streaming stick, you'll need to find another source of power. But there is a 3.5mm audio jack for hooking in a headset or small speakers if you've got a console connected to it. Still on the back of the monitor, toward the bottom, you'll find a quick release that detaches the monitor from the factory stand. The design makes for a very smooth installation process, but I'll cover more on that in a bit. As for the design of the stand itself, I have to say, I definitely prefer not to use it, and that's only because it's so large. Not only is it wide at 19 inches across, but it juts out from back to front 9.25 inches, and that's not even taking into account the cable management clip jutting out the other way. When you have a desktop that's only 23 to 24 inches deep like an IKEA Light Captain, the stand stretches over a third of that depth. So if you add a double XL mousepad to the desktop, the stand is usually an inch or two on top of the mousepad, which doesn't look aesthetically pleasing, especially with those pointy corners and the bold red accenting on the rear of the base. Credit where it's due, it supports the monitor extremely well, and there's even a clip on the back for some cable management, though it doesn't do a stellar job, and that's because it's so high up. Cables aren't properly channeled all the way down the stand, and you can usually see them before they drop below the desk. Now, if you do plan on using the stand, assembly is quick and simple. The base screws into the bottom of the arm, and the cable management clip snaps into the open horizontal slats at the top of the arm. When mounted on the stand, you're able to tilt the monitor back and forth, adjust the height, and rotate it clockwise into a portrait orientation. Some monitors do allow you to rotate the monitor clockwise or counterclockwise, but this one does not. If you decide not to use the factory stand, the 27GL83A is compatible with 100x100 basic pattern monitor arms and only weighs 13.5 pounds. Now coming around to the front of the monitor, hidden out of sight beneath the bottom bezel, you'll find a joystick that you can press to open up the menus, make your selections, and toggle through settings with up, down, left, and right directions, or to adjust volume for the audio jack, just press the multi-directional button right or left, or flick the button toward you to quickly mute and unmute. I really like this design because controls are user-friendly, it's more accessible to reach under the front bezel for one button and joystick, rather than behind the monitor, possibly for multiple buttons and guess which one does what, and it just looks cleaner that it's completely hidden away. As for the display, we've already covered some specs, but there's plenty more worth mentioning, starting with the panel itself. The The 27GL83A features a 27-inch QHD wide 1440p resolution with 16:9 aspect ratio, and if you remember from the beginning of the video, it also uses an IPS panel. This means a fast reaction time of 1 millisecond, excellent color accuracy at 99% of sRGB, and a wide 178-degree viewing angle. The screen itself uses a matte anti-glare finish. The benefits of this type of screen are reduced reflections and glare from nearby light sources like lamps or windows, but one of the downsides is you lose out on those real deep inky blacks. Regardless, compared to an OLED monitor, you won't be experiencing true blacks from an IPS panel, and this is more noticeable the more black is displayed. When there are only sections of black, especially those surrounded by white, they do look deeper and more true thanks to contrast. But compare that to a full black screen and you can tell it's not really true black. There's definitely some visible illumination there. The 27GL83A actually delivers a rather low image contrast ratio of 700:1, but with typical values around 1000:1, which again will translate to poorer quality blacks. But that's the trade-off with IPS panels. You'll usually have to sacrifice dark blacks for either a fast response time, more accurate colors, or sometimes both. This is also why IPS panels retail for a lot less than OLED panels. As for brightness, this monitor produces 350 nits, which has been more than sufficient in my experience with it over the years. Now earlier we talked about that multi-directional joystick and on-screen display menu. Within this menu, you can make loads of changes to how your 27GL83A displays brightness, colors, plus so much more. So let's take a closer look at some of those optional adjustments by opening up the OSD menu by pressing the button. In this menu is where you can switch between different inputs, like if you had a console plugged into one of the HDMI ports along with a PC or other device. The right menu, titled Menu, lets you cycle through various color presets to match your desired preference. Gamer 1, 2, FPS, and RTS modes allow you the most control over game adjustments like Adaptive Sync, which lets you activate or deactivate G-Sync and FreeSync simultaneously. Black Stabilizer, which allows you to adjust the black saturation levels to make dark images stand out better in dark scenes. Crosshair, which allows you to activate a permanent crosshair icon on your monitor for assisting in first-person shooter games. And Response Time, which provides the option of normal, fast, faster, and off. I've learned that to get the most out of this monitor, the optimal choice is fast, because setting response time to faster has a high chance to overshoot, which causes a white halo to trail behind an object. Other picture adjustments like brightness, contrast, sharpness, gamma, plus more are all available to customize while either game mode 1 or 2 are active. However, when the game mode is set to anything other than those two, the only two picture adjustments available for customizing are brightness and contrast. So whether the 2019 UltraGear 27GL83A is right for you depends on so many variables and personal preferences. It's certainly been a popular option during its run, and my wife and I have both really enjoyed ours. While she was doing more simulation gaming like Planet Zoo or The Sims, I more so played games like Borderlands 3, Fortnite, GTA 5, Forza Horizon 5, and Doom Eternal. I thought those games looked incredible on the 27GL83A, from buttery smooth frame rates to picture brightness and accurate color saturation. But maybe that's because my eyes aren't overly sensitive to changes in visual quality, like noticing the difference between 1000:1 and 3000:1 image contrast, unless I'm seeing them compared on two monitors side by side. Also, I'd like to point out I've never owned an OLED monitor or even an OLED TV, but perhaps if I did, I might be more sensitive to the downsides of an IPS panel. But remember, this model monitor has been around since late 2019, so while some of its display specs may not be as competitive as today's monitors, it's much more affordable than a brand new OLED and possibly even more affordable than some other ISP panels. And not everyone shopping for a monitor needs or wants a high-end OLED. If you're a cozy gamer or casual gamer, you probably don't need over 200 or 300 frames per second. Even my PC with a Ryzen 7 5800X and RTX 3080 doesn't always put out the max frames this monitor can handle. I'm sure it would be nice having an OLED that delivers gorgeous color contrast, but I just can't justify the price. Maybe if I upgrade my PC to hit those ultra high frames, it'd be worth it. But for now, this 5-year-old monitor is just perfect for me and my setup. So let me know down in the comments what you think. Is a 5-year-old monitor still a good option for you? Let me know. And if you're interested, I'll leave a link for you to check out in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Later.